Well, hello. Today we get to welcome Brad Lesch, who I know quite well because he's also my husband. And he is here representing his Rotary Club out of Boulder. And he's also the new president for their annual year. And I wanted to start off by asking you about Rotary because I think most people know the word, know the term, but don't really know what it does. So can you explain what Rotary International actually is, what they do?
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right, we're not the best at advertising what we do, but Rotary Clubs exist all throughout all the communities in the United States, as well as in about 200 countries. So about 1.2 billion Rotarians throughout the world. But Rotary is focused, it's started off as business leaders coming together to try to make a difference in their local communities, but it's evolved to much beyond that. So right now, Rotary here in Boulder, there's 3 clubs, 3 primary clubs, and I'm with the Boulder Valley Rotary Club. And all clubs have the similar focuses: community service, world community service, and then any sort of special projects that people are interested in. Our club is heavily involved in our local community through providing services to early childhood education, mental health partners, basically a lot of services to support families that may need some help, working through EFA, the Emergency Family Assistance Association, as well as several international projects. So right now we have 3 international projects that are going on, and the international projects tend to be things like water projects, like bringing clean water to villages. Right now we're doing one in Nicaragua. Sanitation is a big initiative for Rotary worldwide, and so sanitation and clean water kind of go hand in hand. And then in Africa we have 2 projects going on right now. One is a seed project, which is building storage facilities for seeds so that villages can maintain good quality seeds for growing seasons. And then we have a refugee project that we're working on, providing assistance to medical devices and that sort of thing for refugee camps. So every Rotary is going to have its own projects. We happen to be a very active club here.
And you said that you have some local projects. Tell me about something you guys are doing locally to help here in Boulder County.
Sure. The last one that we did, we just built some books. We bought and built the bookshelves for EFA at 2 other locations. So if you don't know what EFA does, they provide short-term emergency assistance to families that have been displaced. So one of our goals with the bookshelves was to stock them with children's books so that when a child was displaced from their home, they went to a temporary living situation, they kind of felt like they had one, reading materials, but also it felt more like a home setting to them. So that was one of the ones that we just, it's ongoing, there's several phases to it, but we just did that a couple of weeks ago. We work a lot with mental health partners, and we have a mental health initiative that we're working on. And one of the biggest things that we've done recently was we printed out 10,000 business card called wallet cards with the numbers of all of the different organizations that people can call on when they're in need of assistance. So just kind of a quick reference guide for somebody, and we put those through businesses throughout the community. So if somebody was having suicidal thoughts or something, there'd be a suicide hotline on there, or things of that nature. So.
And is it common for you to, it sounds like you work often with other charities, so that's a pretty common thing. It's not just Rotary driven all of the time.
No, we do. We work almost all of the time. We're working with established 501c3 charities in the community and trying to find out how we can best partner with them and leverage Rotary International, which we also have access to some funding for, in addition to our own foundation that provides a lot of the funds that go into these projects.
So there's a lot of different ways that people can volunteer and different programs they can work with. What made you choose Rotary over all of those other programs that are out there?
I didn't know a lot about Rotary when I first started. I didn't know certainly the scope of everything that they had done, but from the couple of Rotarians that I had known in the past that were good friends, the overriding theme of what I heard was really Rotary's motto, which is service above self. And so I think that's really what drove me to Rotary. I was looking to find an organization that I could become involved in where I could really just give back to the community around me. And when I first started, I thought I would gravitate more towards the global projects and things that we do because we travel so much. But what I found I really loved is the local projects that we do in the schools, early childhood education, those sorts of things. So that's really been what I've enjoyed doing the most.
Now, I know you were just at the convention, the International Rotary Convention in Atlanta this year. So what highlight or what really struck you about that you want to share with folks that was going on? You heard a lot of great speakers and
Yeah, very wonderful, inspirational speakers, Bill Gates and Ashton Kutcher and some civil rights activists, and it was, I think the speakers were the highlight. The one thing that I took away from that was, when we started this podcast, you talked about, Rotary is kind of the best kept secret in every community for many people, and that's because we don't seek a lot of publicity for what we do in the community. But in order to continue to grow and continue to have the largest impact that we can on our communities, that's an important thing that people know what we do. So we are coming out with Rotary International is coming out with a new advertising program, and I think it really captures what we do, and it's Rotary people taking action, and that's really what it is. Yeah.
So now you're the president of this Rotary year that just started, and what is your goal for your club this year?
So I've just put out in my newsletter what my goals were for the year, and they're a little bit different. Our past president was very goal-oriented, was very specific goals, things like citations and awards that she wanted to get, that sort of thing. I'm really more kind of a bigger picture when it comes to my goals. So first and foremost, my goal this year is all the funds that we take in, we try to redeploy those back into the community and service projects. And so my goal this year is to make our club as efficient as possible so that we can send as much money as possible back into our community service projects. So that's really my number one goal. We're extremely efficient as is, but I really I don't want to have any carryover into next year. I really want to deploy all the funds that we raise right back into the community. So that's really my primary goal.
Spend the money.
Spend the money. Make the most impact we can.
Fun goal. That's usually what we're not allowed to do. So that's a fun one. So I know you have a very large fundraiser coming up in September, which is one that you actually helped to start, and it involves drinking beer. So do you want to tell people about that and when it's coming up?
And chili and beer. So it's always good. The town of Superior for the last 16 or 17 years has been doing a chili festival. It's actually a competitive chili competition. And international. It's the one right before they go to the internationals, yes. But I thought, one of the things that we've always tried to do is to do fundraisers that are fun. That's a really important part of our club too, is we really have a good time when we're meeting and the fellowship and the activities that we do them because we like to make a difference, but we also like to have a lot of fun. So I thought, what would be more fun than a beer fest? So we're in our 4th year of Beer Fest, and very popular in Superior.
How many beer vendors do you typically have?
But this year we'll have about 25.
And so people come and buy a ticket and get to go.
Yep, they come. They get we'll give you a nice glass mug, and it's got.
You get to keep it.
You get to keep it. It's a Boulder Valley Beer Fest on there, and usually the brewers do 2 to 3 beers each. And you get 3-ounce pours, and it's just unlimited, but I would suggest sticking to the 3-ounce pours with that many vendors. So
designated driver.
Yeah.
And what day of September?
September 9th.
Okay, great. So people can come out and support by drinking beer. It's a terrible thing to have to do, but,
Right, down at the community park in Superior.
My last question I think I have for you, so if somebody's listening to this and like, well, that sounds kind of interesting, I'd like to find out more. What would they need to do to find out more about your particular club?
Yeah, my club or any club. Google works great. So Google clubs in the area. If you Google Boulder Valley Rotary Club, you'll find our club. If you Google Boulder Rotary Club, you'll find probably the Boulder Club, which is a separate club. But we meet on Tuesdays at the Millennium at noon for lunch.
And the name of your club, though?
It's Boulder Valley Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Boulder Valley. But come to a meeting, come to a lunch. We welcome guests at every single meeting, and come and see what we're about. One of the things I really love about Rotary is we are completely non-political. We're a secular organization, non-religious. We're really there just to focus on the fellowship and what we can do to improve our communities.
So if they wanted to come to a lunch at your organization, would they need to reach out to you or just show up?
Or just show up at the Millennium Hotel at noon and say, heard about Rotary and wanted to see what it's about.
Very nice. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing all the information. It's been, I've watched it myself since you've been involved and been very impressed. And I think the people are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Just such a great group because obviously everybody's a volunteer, nobody's getting paid. And so everybody there is just got such a great warm heart and spirit. And I know they do a lot with children, and we've had an exchange student, a Rotary exchange student at our house. We have 2 and different years, and you guys sponsor them to come in, and I've gotten to see firsthand the dictionary project, which you guys have dictionaries that are printed and give out to 3rd graders throughout. Are you doing all of BBSD now?
No, we do 10 schools last year.
Okay.
And 10 elementary schools in Boulder County.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's really, I mean, there's so many projects, it's hard to
Go through them all.
kind of go through them all, but scholarships, student exchanges, back and forth, all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah, so it's great. So if anybody wants to get involved, I would definitely recommend giving it a try and stopping in for the lunch.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to reach you directly and find out more, how would they get a hold of you?
Sure, call me or email me. Cell phone's good, 303-829-8015. And then email is Brad Lesch, BradLesch @comcast.net.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks.